Okay, welcome to our presentation today. We're going to be discussing BYU Athletics Tight Like Unto a Dish project, which is the completion of the LaVell Edwards Stadium so that it is a bowl. We'll start out with just a little bit of the background of LaVell Edwards Stadium. Started as a 5,000 seat Cougar Stadium back 62 years ago. Over the years, football in Provo has become a lot more popular. In 1984, they won a national championship, and it's time, now that they're in the Big 12, to expand the stadium to 75,000 seats and make Provo and its football the premier program in the Big 12. For this project, we're looking at $175 million, but I'm going to show you how that is going to be funded and how we're going to do it. Before we start, we'll look at some organizational stuff. Just a reminder, BYU operates on a self-sustaining model. That means that we don't receive money from anybody but our donors and the income that we produce as an athletic department. You can see here some of the money that we make through our athletic department and then broken down by our athletic teams. You'll notice that football is our top producing team, and therefore we think that by expanding this stadium that we will continue to increase the revenue that we can bring in through football and related stuff. And then we just have our staff chart here, and this is everybody who will be helping us through this project. All of our sales, sponsorship, and marketing teams, and Dallin Moody will be over the project as the deputy athletic director. Okay, let's look at the SWOT analysis. Quickly, we're just going to look at some of our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Biggest strength is by far Cougar Nation, our alumni network, our financially engaged fans who show up and are passionate about our sports teams. And on the flip side, one of the biggest weaknesses is that we cannot operate in a deficit. We will not incur debt. And we have to fundraise, and we have to raise the money first before we spend it. Opportunities here, now that we're in the Big 12, we have this huge opportunity to make a name for BYU and to further push the brand and become the premier program in the Big 12. And just like I said previously, more opportunities for revenue. Threats really boil down to just competition of donor dollars. We have NIL. We have other programs on campus that are doing well, and our donors are going to be wanting to help them out as well. And then we just don't really know how things are going to be in the future with the ever-changing college football and college sport landscape. Okay, let's look at some of our goals, objectives, and strategies. Revenue goals, we want to raise all this money ahead of time before we spend it, like I mentioned. And so we're looking at raising $60 million through major gifts and naming rights commitments. I'll talk about those a little bit later. We want to raise $75 million through a donor campaign that I also will talk about in a bit, and then $40 million specifically based around that first season ticket sales. And so we're going to have a lot more new inventory that we can sell, and those will help fund the project as well. Expense goals, we want to be responsible. We don't want to overspend on anything, and we want to get the best for our money. So we will get competitive bids, and then to help us not overspend, we will have an emergency fund of 10%, and that's just in case anything goes over. We will have that little nest egg to pull money out of. And then some marketing goals. Like I mentioned, we want to launch this marketing campaign so that we can earn money through donors. And that campaign is going to be by small and simple things. And it's going to show that through many small donations, we can do a great work in completing this project. This will be a full-on campaign with videos and websites and social campaigns and all that, and we're looking to get that to go pretty viral with a lot of impressions and a lot of interest form signups and pushes to make donations. And this is a render of what it might look like, but probably will look better than that. Then we have some corporate sponsorship goals. We want to strengthen the relationships that we have and make potentially more relationships with corporate sponsors. And so in order to do that, we got to make pitches. And so we're looking at 20 new pitches. And then we want to sign at least 7 of those to multi-million-dollar deals if possible. And convert that into revenue. And then communication will be of the utmost importance, and so we will be emailing internal stakeholders monthly with project updates and milestones. We will be having a quarterly meeting with all internal stakeholders, and we'll do this right away. And then we'll have external-facing project updates that go out every month through our media channels, email threads, and all that as well, so that Cougar Nation can also be apprised to what's going on with the project. Okay, as I mentioned, we have internal and external stakeholders, and that kind of defines our target market. Externally, we just have our BYU alumni, our corporate sponsors, our Big 12 partners, major donors, anybody who's a BYU fan, sports fan, academics fan, anything. We want to serve them. Internally, of course, we want this to be the best for our athletes, our athletic staff, our administration, and just the school in general. We want it to reflect our values and what we stand for at BYU. So now let's look at some of the fun stuff. So this is our new inventory and how it will bring in revenue. So we have some mock-ups here. We're looking at adding a tower with individual access on each of the 4 corners of LaVell Edwards Stadium. Each of these corners will be have a naming rights contract assigned to it, an opportunity to brand the corner with a corporate sponsor. And so in this case, we have an example of a Qualtrics corner with a cool little stats board with stats from the game that fans can come and look at and admire as they're getting snacks and going to the bathroom and things like that. And we're looking at these corner sections make about $40 million, and that's 4 contracts of 10-year contracts. And we're hoping to have those contracts be long-term like that, so that we can establish that naming as broadcasters and announcers over the loudspeaker there at the stadium say, please meet at Qualtrics corner to get your prize or whatever, so that there's really a geographical meaning behind each of these branding and sponsorships. The next thing here is our donor wall, and the idea here is the more you donate, the bigger your name will be, and we really want this to be something where a family goes and finds their name, and it's an exciting thing. They take pictures near it, and it becomes like a family tradition, right? They're always coming to games and finding their name. This one is obviously just a one-time income, but it will help fund this project. Then we have our premium seatings, which is really one of the most cool parts about this. We will have we'll have the basic seating at the lower levels, and then we'll have two premium tiers. One, the lodge seatings, which is just going to be right above the normal seatings, but we're going to have integrated tablets in the back of the seats, in the bar tops, things like that, to have just a more sophisticated premium experience. And then above that, we're going to have our premium glass enclosed seating, and that is a awesome opportunity because each of these four sections has dedicated entrances. We'll be able to have events outside of football in these areas. We can have receptions, corporate meetings, things like that we can receive revenue outside of the football season in those. We're estimating these at $97 million, and I'll talk about why that is. There's a couple different pieces to that. And then we have signage. This kind of goes without saying, but there'll be lots more opportunities for sponsorships and signage on this new stuff. Okay, and then we'll have concessions. The nice thing is we'll have concourse-facing concessions, and then on the back side, those premium seats will have easy access to concessions, so they don't have to wait in line and things like that. And that's going to add about $4 million, and you can read more about it here in this. For justifications, we looked at a lot of different naming right opportunities that exist, and did some comparables. For the premium club seating, we priced them at about we priced the lower seats at about what we price for season passes currently, the lodge seats a little more, and then the premium seats at a top price. And again, we used these the current season ticket prices to inform that. Now the season ticket sales are interesting, and if we just took them at their face value and the price that they cost, they would bring in these new additional 10,000 seats would bring in about $11 million a year for season passes. However, the way that we do season passes is we have this Cougar Club membership level where members of Cougar Club who've donated so much get first dibs on these season tickets. And if history the last few years serves us well, they're going to sell out real quick. And so we have lifetime contributions that are necessary for some of these levels, and then an annual contribution which is needed for some of these levels. And so then on the next slide, I'm going to show some statistical distribution models that use a power law. Essentially, that just means you're going to have a few people at the top level and a lot more at lower levels. And so this is showing how much we would need from annual yearly donations for those lower level seats. And so you'll see that, multi-million there. And then for the lifetime donation, we're getting a lot of money here, and we're looking at 80 million. And you might say, well, that's weird. We're expecting there to be a lot of big-time donations from people who want or who are looking specifically at this project and are making a donation. And then yearly, they would need to make this donation to keep those access to those premium seats. And then concessions, we have the concession breakdown and the signage. And then, let's look at the budgeting real quick. You can see the breakdown of expenses and the breakdown of revenue, as we've discussed. You see here that a lot of the cost is in the seats and the infrastructure there, and then we plan to really fit the suites out nicely with $8 million of technology and premium stuff. And then you'll notice that the expense here is greater than the revenue, and you might think, well, that is a deficit. And that's why we have this little footnote here where we are pulling in this contingency 10% into account here, which is $16 million. We do not plan to spend all that, but worst case, if we did, we would have about an $800,000 deficit that we would either need to fundraise more or just pull out of cash from the department budget. But ultimately, I'm thinking that we'll be under budget on this plan. And then we have our references and sources that we use to inform all these things. And that is all.